Hello, and welcome to Tom Myers versus the rest of the world. Well, the first presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump took place last week. The debate was held on ABC and took a decidedly different tact when the network's moderators, David Muir and Lindsay Davis, fact-checked Donald Trump at several points throughout the proceedings. In this climate, that passes for being a groundbreaking moment in journalism since it made other news networks go, oh, shit, right. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Even the New York Times took notice. To start the debate, Kamala Harris went across the stage to shake Trump's hand, which is risky in this climate, as the mainstream news media can be quick to report. Harris invades Trump's personal space, makes no plans to let up. In retrospect, introducing herself to Trump is a smart move for Harris, as Trump keeps thinking she's Hillary Clinton. In fact, Trump has probably forgotten Harris's name so many times. She must think she's one of his kids. At one point, Trump tried to criticize Democrats' policies on abortion by saying one former governor allowed abortion in the 9th month. He meant to say it was the former governor of Virginia, when in fact he said West Virginia. That could be risky for Trump. Criticizing West Virginians? Besmirching the collective name of his fellow racists is one hell of a way for him to lose votes. The other is Project 2025, saying a marriage is between a man and a woman not related to one another. Again, very risky if you're a Republican candidate. Donald Trump claimed that with the Alabama court ruling outlawing in vitro fertilization, he proclaimed himself a leader on fertilization. I'm not sure Trump should declare himself the leader of fertilization, considering he now owes nearly $100 million because he was found guilty of trying to prove the same thing in a department store dressing room. This wasn't the only paradox that Trump put forth. He also criticized the Biden-Harris student forgiveness proposal by saying that they were taunting students. Again, maybe bringing up taunting students isn't the best tactic for Trump, considering that was the cause of his fake university being closed. Trump's negotiating with the Taliban to leave Afghanistan came up during the foreign policy portion of the debate. Harris attempted to ensure the public that Biden was not to blame for the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. So, of course, she brought that up. And to be fair, Trump was willing to negotiate with the Taliban to end the war in Afghanistan, since they made his building the tallest in New York City on 9/11. If there's one takeaway from last week's debate, it's that Donald Trump is basically the guy at the bar that you get drunk, show him a racist meme, and ask him what he thinks. With that, let's move on to the show. Please join me in welcoming Gina Brown, Chipp Jones, and Tiffany Norton.
Yay!
Everybody, welcome. Thanks for coming back, everyone.
Thank you.
So what did everybody think about the debate?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I was just gonna follow up what you said, because Trump is the king of disastrous withdrawals. I mean, Don Jr., Eric. I mean, it's like he's
started. Too soon. No, too late.
No. That's it.
Not at all. The debate for me is like my Super Bowl. So I loved it. It was
and your team won. Your team won.
My team spanked. Yeah, I loved it. I think I wasn't surprised by any of it. I already know that she's capable and she's everything
right.
He's not. So
right.
Yeah.
I just love the evolution afterward, where it went from Republicans having to say she won the debate to, the next day saying, well, it was the moderators who put their thumb on the scale, to now Trump screaming how he won. Almost every outlet says that I won, so I don't need to have another debate. It's like, it's nice to see the production of a lie step by step by step. It just, it's like watching a kid build, the Lego Battlestar Galactica. Every day you get to see a little more added to it, fleshed out. It's cool.
Except in this case, I think the Republicans would try to build it without the instructions. Like that. That's
Right.
called. That's called preparing.
Right.
And like, well, how did they know that? Well, how did the moderators know to fact check Trump on this stuff? It's like, because he said this shit before, and so it's almost as if they know that he's gonna act like a dipshit.
Mhm.
But also, it's so outrageous that I mean, really, it doesn't even require a fact check, because if you're just have a modicum of a brain, you don't even
Right.
have to have a very large, just a tiny. You would know that can't even be true. That doesn't even make any sense. So
Well,
I appreciate that they did it, but
I think in a way that's the magic of the Trump lie, that it's so huge that it catches some people like, oh, it's got to be true. Nobody would tell a lie that big, and so they get caught up thinking like, there's no way he could be. That's so stupid. It must be true. No one would say that unless it was true.
right.
But,
I was going to add too, I don't know if you guys noticed this as well. When he really started to go off the rails was when she talked about his rallies.
that's it. Crowd size, baby.
Yeah,
That was and the crowd size, right? And I know men size is important. It's
That's
a,
right.
it's a very hallowed subject. I understand. But I explained to a friend, like, if you don't think grown men lie about attendance, then you don't know any comedy show producers.
Right.
Every show I've ever done online says it was sold out. On
That's right.
stage, not sold out.
In the coverage following the debate, the conservative network Newsmax wanted to reassure its viewers that their chosen candidate mastered the debate, despite not even being able to master coherent sentences or basic hair care. As a result, they produced this Snap online poll.
Okay, Greg, so we have the results of our Newsmax Snap poll. Your voice was heard, and with 93% of the vote, President Trump won the debate.
Something tells me that Newsmax is a bit slanted.
Yeah. Well, you know what they don't tell you? How many people did they talk to? It's like of the three people we have here.
The people that were able to participate in the poll were Mint Mobile users.
That's
Right.
They're on the no long-term contract plan.
Of the six people that we paid, 93% of them.
I mean, to be fair, I shouldn't criticize because my podcast is kind of the same way. Like, if you do a poll that says, do you agree with Tom Myers? It's 99% yes. And the 1% is just like one Rogan bro who still listens to me on Spotify, basically.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how they said that with straight faces. Maybe their faces weren't straight.
Well, and I think it wasn't obviously it wasn't a scientific poll, because then they have
Right.
the plus or minus of like the how accurate it is. It's just
Right.
we
Plus
went
or
into
minus.
the room and everybody said
Plus or minus 87%.
Plus or minus everybody on the internet, basically.
And there was no Kornacki. If there's no Kornacki, is there even a poll?
That's right.
And it was like, I think either Twitter or X or maybe Truth Social or something.
It was a Newsmax poll, Tom.
Yeah. It's like everybody can reply from their 5 email accounts.
Right.
I hope that they are sponsored by Red Bull or an energy drink with news to the max. News. Yeah, Alpha News. Okay.
It's weird. Every time I go to it, there is no news about HBO shows at all. I don't understand.
That's false advertising, my friend.
That's right.
I want to watch Succession.
Newsmax's efforts to influence the country doesn't stop with their post-debate coverage, but in their failed attempts to interact with real people, as we can see in these series of on-the-street interviews in, of all places, New York City.
The point of any debate is to move the needle for undecided voters, and the only way to find out if it actually worked is to go out and ask, because the AP claimed that voters in New York City think Kamala Harris won, but you know what? I don't believe them. So I went out found out for myself. It's exactly what we did.
What was your favorite policy of hers?
Favorite policy, not being Donald Trump, not trying to attempt a coup.
Who did you favor?
Harris.
Really? What was your favorite policy about hers?
Everything that she had to say was absolutely wonderful.
Well, you got somebody who in office who says she's going to do this and that when she gets elected. She's in office already. She's in office. I used to be a Democrat, not anymore.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Come on, man.
No.
I gotta put this on TV.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No.
I apologize.
You're not.
Way better. Fake news. Newsmax suck.
I love how like the guy who cursed on TV was more apologetic.
Apologetic,
The guy
right.
he just walked right by,
Right.
and you
You
can
gotta
just
look
see.
New York.
if they're not using hey Newsmax sucks in their advertisement day in and day out, I think they need a new they need a new company.
I mean, first off, it was amazing that they posted that because, like, if this is live and someone does that, that's understandable. Like,
Right.
if Newsmax put that on TV,
Right.
then that's like, okay, maybe they just want to show this. But I got that video off of Newsmax's YouTube page. Like, Newsmax kept that guy and put him on YouTube, like,
There you
just
go.
because they needed to fill out the length on the video so that
Yes.
it wouldn't be a short, so that people would see it.
I love that the guy was like, I used to be a Democrat and now I'm not. It's like we're not missing you. Like,
That's right.
trust. Like, there is literally nothing that is coming out of you that we need to have. So
See, Tom, what happened is they're like, okay, we need like 35 more seconds for this YouTube video. We only have 4 more hours of no comment. What are we gonna do? Put the guy saying the F word on.
I think they're doing it though just to like get them aggravated, right? That there's
Right.
these New York liberals.
That's
that,
right.
You know, they all, because all the liberals live in the north, like
That's right.
like
Right.
the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Although I've done,
You
as
know-
someone who's done comedy in New York City, like that is not, those aren't real New Yorkers. They are not that sedate. Donald Trump has been campaigning for president for 9 years. This is about the point in their runs when Barney Miller and Seinfeld ended their TV runs, and thus people still enjoy those shows. Trump needs to recognize this TV show, whatever the hell it is called, has run its course. For this reason, it has created some jump the shark moments. One of these is this instance during the debate. Trump referred to one of the Biden-Harris policy points as run, spot, run, which coincidentally is now the Trump campaign's new slogan, with the story of immigrants eating dogs and cats is being discussed on the news.
Oh,
Much has been made of the now disproven Trump claim, but the full impact of the on-the-spot reaction to such a claim can be seen in this video of a debate watch party with Harris voters in Pennsylvania.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people and it's a shame.
I love that they just roared. And I mean,
That's
the
right.
guys in the back were like over on their stomachs. Like, it's just because that's how ridiculous it sounds.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the visual segment of that. You can see the video on YouTube, but those kids, and I think that they were either in another room or in a separate part of like wherever they were watching, or maybe it was a different party altogether, but they acted like that oh snap gif that people posted is basically what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
They're eating the dogs.
well, yeah, and yeah, I love all the. He never sounds like a New Yorker until he said that. The dogs.
The dogs.
Eating the
dogs.
When he says human and huge, then he sounds like a New
Right.
York.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. You're right. You're right.
But
Well,
that's
actually, I
it.
think
That's it.
He does his Mike Myers doing Liz Taylor. They're eating the dogs.
the dog. And actually, I think he's from Jersey. So actually, some of this makes more sense when you put it in that context.
Heating the door.
Nothing against Jersey. I got friends in Jersey. So.
I was born in Jersey, so you were easy with it, so it's all right.
To say J.D. Vance is far detached from reality is an understatement. In fact, J.D. Vance looks like he's a fictional character created by an ad agency, and this election is just one long advertising campaign for Vitalis. Another theory is that he is so afraid of reality that he avoided the couch and just resorted to humping his teddy bear. In these excerpts from an interview with Dana Bash on CNN, J.D. Vance says the quiet part out loud by revealing the Trump-Vance campaign's true intention behind the now debunked Haitian immigrant story.
Senator, I have to go through several things that you just said. First of all, the Clark County Sheriff and the Ohio Department of Natural Resources reviewed 11 months of 911 calls. They only identified 2 instances of people alleging Haitians were taking geese out of parks. They found 0 evidence to substantiate those claims. Also, other evidence that you have talked about, even you've retweeted, alleged evidence, are unsourced social media videos from a different city, apparently no connection to Haitians. And this is from a conservative activist who offered a $5,000 reward for such things. And then going just backly to the schools and the hospitals and so forth being overwhelmed, nobody is disputing that the town of Springfield, Ohio needs help. But you're not just a bystander, you're the senator from Ohio. So instead of saying things that are wrong and actually causing the hospitals, the schools, the government buildings to be evacuated because of bomb threats, because of the cats and dogs thing, why not actually be constructive in helping to better integrate them into the community? Because there are a lot of employers there who say that the Haitian workers are helping fill jobs that they need desperately filled.
Dana, the evidence is the first-hand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to,
But it wasn't just a meme,
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast.
What?
I didn't I didn't play the whole
Yeah.
the whole segment, obviously, but what I cut out was that before every answer, he gave this really awkward, like 8-second pause. And I was just expecting his eyes. They already look weird. I was just expecting those eyes to just have that Air 404 message or pop up like a blue screen.
Thank you for saying that, because I was noticing his pupils are so tiny. Like the little, what is that, right? What's the black part inside the colored part, on your eye? Because that's the right. Like obviously I'm a comic, not a scientist, but like it's so tiny. Hers looks normal. I'm like,
you would know if you were a drug dealer. You know exactly what was going on.
He didn't blink but 3 times in that whole first opening thing. He's just staring the camera down with that smile. And I'm like, is this a snapshot or is he breathing?
I think that the pause is that he's semi-robotic, right? So the pause is him powering up and powering down, and it takes a while when he has to come back up because there's that beat in between. That's where he is.
Basically, but Gina, you're saying that J.D. Vance is running on Commodore 64. Is that what you're saying?
So something like that.
Right.
Yes.
On a tape backup of a Commodore 64 program.
If I'm Dana Bash, the follow-up question I'm going to ask is, this constituent complaint, did that come in the form of what sounded like a teenager trying to sound like an adult voice? And was there giggling in the background?
That's right.
The refrigerator running?
Former Trump White House staffer Stephen Miller can best be summed up by a paraphrase of a George Carlin statement. Never underestimate the power of a stupid racist with a weird-shaped head.
Mm-hmm.
In this exchange with a reporter from a South American news network in the debate spin room, Stephen Miller realizes that legitimate news outlets don't buy his claims about a crime increase in this country being the responsibility of Venezuela.
All these criminal migrants that have been flooded in the country are going to be the first to get thrown out of here. I mean, you've seen case after case, these heartbreaking tragedies. Those ones are going to get found and deported first. And look at this Venezuelan gang. You have a Venezuelan gang that is taking over entire apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado, and that's responsible, by the way, for some of the most heinous crimes that have happened all over the United States. The crime rate in Venezuela is down, I believe, a little bit over 60% over the last several years.
Are you trusting the official figures from the Venezuelan dictatorship?
Let's put it this way. If you're a dictator of a poor country with a high crime rate, wouldn't you send your criminals to our open border?
That wasn't my question. Are you trusting the figures of the dictatorships? Those are Maduro numbers.
I am believing that it is in the interest of a criminal dictator to let his criminals out of their jails and come to our country.
Do you have numbers, real numbers, not dictatorship numbers?
The Venezuelan gangs that have, you've seen the CCTV footage. I have a question. Who do you think? Answer me this.
My family is from Venezuela. I know very well the situation of Caracas and many other cities.
Right, tell me, who were the people with the high-powered rifles in the hallway of that apartment building? Who were they?
They were gangsters from Venezuela.
Right. No American community.
But I was asking to you about figures, numbers,
what I'm
facts.
saying to you is the facts are the dead bodies. The facts are...
You said that Caracas has a lowest crime rate than the USA.
The facts are the mutilated bodies. The facts are the people in the morgues that are dead.
I was asking you about Caracas and the numbers in Caracas. Are you trusting the numbers of the dictatorship?
I am trusting the fact that Kamala Harris is letting illegal immigrants into this country who are raping and murdering children.
I had been very respectful. Why are you yelling?
Children are being raped and murdered.
I was just asking for figures, and you have not replied to me about those figures.
Murdered. Do you know who Kayla Hamilton is?
Do you trust the numbers of Nicolas Maduro? I'm asking again.
I trust a ruthless dictator will empty his prisons and send their criminals to our country.
So you trust his numbers?
The most dangerous gang in Venezuela is
you
now
trust Nicolas Maduro?
I trust that he does not want his criminals to be...
You believe in his numbers?
I believe he's sending his criminals to our country.
And do you think that the crime rate in Venezuela have decreased?
Do you not believe the law enforcement reports of Venezuelan gangs in this country?
I was asking for the Venezuelan government figures, not the figures here.
Or not? Are Venezuelan gangs in this country or not? Yes or no?
What
yes
are the figures that you say to say that in Caracas the number is lower than in the USA?
Are Venezuelan gangs in this country or not?
So you don't have numbers.
You know who has numbers? The Department of Homeland Security. You can ask Mayorkas for numbers. You can ask the Director Ray for the numbers.
Sir,
I'm telling you.
You said that in Venezuela the crime rate is lower than the USA.
Yes, because
what are your numbers? That's my question.
Because the criminals are here now.
Those are Maduro's numbers.
I can tell you again that Border Patrol agents are encountering thousands
of trust Maduro numbers?
I trust the border agents in our country.
But and I am not saying that Caracas has a lower crime rate.
Children are dead, and you are wasting my time.
No, I am not wasting your time. I'm asking for facts as a journalist.
Do you have any remorse for the dead children? Do you care at all about the dead children?
Absolutely.
Then that's what I want to leave you with.
Meanwhile, a lot of migrants who were separated from their kids during the Trump years are hearing Stephen Miller saying he wants people to feel remorse for the children. They're watching that and saying, "You flip-flopped on this issue big time."
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is he's like, well, if you don't believe the numbers of Venezuelan gangs, talk to the Department of Justice, talk to Mayorkas. These are the same people who are telling them that crime is actually on a downward trajectory. And Trump says, oh, you can't believe those numbers. Those are made up. So it's like, okay, you'll believe the numbers that you like, but you won't believe the numbers that you don't like. And this week, I don't know if you've seen this thing. This week, Stephen Miller's new thing is that Tyson's Food is hiring undocumented workers and firing American workers. He says they hired 40,000 undocumented workers. That's 1/3 of the domestic workers for Tyson's Food. So they hired 1/3 of their workforce. Nobody noticed.
And also, somebody's hiring? That's awesome. That's news. I mean, that's the bigger news, right?
It is. Well, and I watched this, they were talking on PBS about, they went and interviewed this man who owns a metal, like a, what do you call it? Like fabrication.
Fabrication, yeah.
Thank you. And he is employing right now 30 Haitian immigrants. And they were like, well, what's your experience been? And he's like, I wish I had a lot more. They come on time.
Right.
They don't ask for time off. They don't have drug problems. They stay at their machines. They come in when they're scheduled.
Yeah.
And he said, I've got to say, it's been a real breath of fresh air.
There's just this sort of fake hysteria that I can't even find a way to believe, right? I cannot believe this man. And he knows it too, because he got so obstinate with that guy. And the guy, I love that guy. He was like, right here, stayed right there. Right?
When someone loses when they lose it in an argument, that's when you win. That's how you win a debate. That is how you win. And also, too, in the replay, everybody go back and look at the poor girl who has to hold the Miller sign. Her face.
I just wish she'd walk off so I could stop holding this damn sign.
And she's like, and the other girl's got the Trump Vance, like little three in the 3-ring binder. That seems a little antiquated as well. There's not an iPad. It's just a binder.
Like a binder, not a phone.
That's right. We have binders full of women. I forget.
That's right.
I forgot about that line. We have binders full of women.
Well, the binders
binders.
The women in the binders were all of these women that the migrants killed. Don't you get what they're trying to do with that binder?
That's right.
We didn't get everything we wanted. We gave binders to women.
Right.
You, sir, don't you care about the children that are having to hold these signs?
Right. And then
The poor children.
Yeah. And then he's yelling at the guy saying, don't you feel remorse for the dead children? No, I don't. I didn't kill them. Why would I feel remorse? That's the wrong word. I think he meant empathy. I think you should look up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Miller may have been taken aback because the logo on that guy's microphone didn't say like ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN. It was
Telemundo, right?
it was there was Telemundo, and then there was NTN 24, which is specifically based in South America. I think its headquarters is in Colombia, but they cover news in Venezuela, other countries there as well. So he just thought, okay, this isn't one of the news networks I've been told were evil. And then he was like, oh, fuck, what did I just get into?
Yeah, he's like, this is going to be an easy one. This is going to be easy.
Yeah, you can see it on the girl's face, too. Like, we stopped wrong. Am I going to hear about this?
He's probably like, no one's going to see this. You're from Caracas. Right?
Yeah.
And on that note, that's our show. I want to thank Gina Brown, Chipp Jones, and Tiffany Norton.
Yay!
Thanks, Tom.
So fun. My first one with you guys.
This episode was written and hosted by Tom Myers with panelists Gina Brown, Chipp Jones, and Tiffany Norton. Theme music composed and arranged by Jeroen van den Hurck. Executive producers, Tom Myers, Matt Connarton for ipmNation, and Eddie Carson for Odyssey Radio. Please leave a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Tom Myers, for access to ad-free episodes, extended episodes, and bonus clips. Thank you for listening, and please visit tommyers.us.